welcome, everybody. This Friday's edition of Strong Perspective Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Keith Armstrong, along with my other host.
Uncle Spoke.
And Damon Armstrong.
Okay, welcome, fellas. This is Strong Perspective Podcast. We old heads with Young Bull and by one Young Bull energy with YN mentality sometimes.
I was hoping you ain't say YN, man.
Look, I don't like
struggle
that
with
term.
that.
I said it
I
on
struggle
purpose,
with it.
right? Listen, I said it on purpose because I want to drag them into this thing too, because they gotta listen to what we say.
It's real.
Let me do this. Let me do the housekeeping, then we're gonna address that. I want y'all opinion about it. All right. This is Strong Perspective Podcast. Do us a favor. We have a YouTube channel by the same name. Go to our YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed to us, go ahead, like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you have friends and family, listen, we trying to look, we hustling up. What we want to do is get in those algorithms that's going to get us to the masses. That's what we want to do. You know what I'm saying? This is a grassroots thing. We're willing to try everything. But what we're going to do is we're going to appeal to you, men and women, to push us forward. So ask your people to go to our YouTube channel, and if you want to stay a while, listen to a couple of shorts, listen to the long versions also, please do so. But before you leave, like, share, and subscribe. Build us up. Glad to be here, gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? I told you last week, Jaquari, what I was going to do is start to call out the number. So it's not official yet, but right now I am up to 235 episodes. Okay, but next week I'm gonna be official, but that's a lot for 3 years, 4 Fridays a month. That's putting in work, man. Putting in work. You feel what I'm saying? With that being said, please go like, share, and subscribe. And folks in the comments, if you got something you want to chop it up about, please. And guys, please say this throughout the joint because I'm going to be doing it. Please hit us in the comments, and we'll put you up on the screen, and we'll chop up with what you want to chop up. All right. With that being said, Damon, how was your day today, my guy?
My day is manageable, man. You know what I'm saying? Some I can deal with, and that's all that I can ask for, bro. Real talk. You know what I'm saying? My daughter called me with a problem, and we're trying to figure out how to solve it. But that's not gonna, affect our time, man. I'm with my brothers, man. I want to know what's happening in your lives, bro.
Okay. Cool. Jaquari, how was your day today, sir?
My day was great, man. I was able to avoid people and conflict. So,
Oh my goodness, man. You hit the lottery.
absolutely.
You an isolationist, bro?
No.
You just ain't for the bullshit, huh?
I can't be, man. I mean, sometimes, I'm a human being, man. So sometimes I'm in for the bullshit, but when I can't, I can't.
No doubt. I think we like that. When we're young, man, we fool ourselves into thinking that we up for everything, especially when we're confrontational people, right? And what I mean is our group, in which all three of us are part of, we were taught to do what? We were taught to survive. We were taught to be confrontational so we can survive, and we were taught to build and do the things we need to do. You know what I'm saying? But as we get older, what you do is you mature. Like, yo, man, sometimes it's just good just to sit down somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Just to sit down. So last week I said that I was gonna come each show. I was thinking about saying something that is a phrase that really and truly gives the energy of this podcast. So I've thought about it all week. And the thing I came up with a couple things, but the one that I like the most is this is the podcast where iron sharpens iron. Strong perspective, baby. You know what I'm saying? I like that. I like that. So tell me something, guys. And this is the thing. It's easy for me because I put a lot of thought. I don't know about you guys. I put a lot of thought. Don't like something. I put a lot of thought into why I don't. So I'll hit you with, man, I don't like this. And if you want me to explain it, I'm like, bam, this is why I don't like it. Boom, 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 boom. Right? And I try to be logical when I do it. Right? So you'll understand, whether you agree with me or not, you'll understand why I said what I said, right? We mentioned it earlier, the term YNs, man. I've been trying to figure out why I don't like that term, right? Obviously, there's a reason why, because what it is. But why do I feel, and I want you guys to chime in, so I'm going to let you know where I'm at with it. Why do I feel like people, whoever came up with it, which I think is clever, but whoever came up with it tried to sneak it past the folks who had a problem with the actual word, the N-word. You feel what I'm saying? Now, I might be overthinking it, so don't judge me on that. But my point is, and you guys know, growing up, I didn't like the word. I'm gonna just say it, just so. I didn't like the word nigga. I never called nobody that. You feel what I'm saying? I never liked it when somebody called me that. And I'm talking about when we're around our fellas. People feel comfortable. Oh, that's my nigga. Oh yeah, that nigga this and this, that, and other. And people put that term. It's a term of endearment when it comes from black folks, right? Now, this is me personally. No, I don't agree with it at all. Now that brings us to YN. And I was like, man, what is YN? You know, being a part of the older generation and not caught up on the vernacular like I should, right? So am I getting this right, fellas? YN means young nigga, right?
Yeah.
That's where I come from, like, yo, because, you know, you guys know I don't like saying it. I don't like saying the word, right? I felt like it's easy to say the word that I don't like when you say that YN over there. You understand? I still think it means the same way with me from my frame of thinking. What do you guys think?
Well, I may be speaking in generalities, man, but it was one point in time in the history of this country where it's negative. It's negative as a word, nigga is. You know, it had positive attributes. It united people under a flag. You know, origins be damned. Okay. When somebody said, you know, the niggas is nigging, it meant something. You know, but YNs, there's no positive. There's nothing positive about that. I mean, I don't know. I hadn't thought about it, man. I hadn't thought about it. I never use the term YN. Seldom use the word nigga. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
My thing, my thing is, man. When people use those terms, man, uh, without consideration of people, like us who don't necessarily care for the word. I mean, if it was never spoken again, you know, ever, man, it wouldn't bother me. I would enjoy it.
Hmm.
It's just it's just something else that you use to label us and shit. So I mean,
Yeah.
I have no use for it.
I went through that period of time where, raised by our parents, the older school folks. Well, let me do this. Mike Britton, our cuz. What's up, cuz? Love you, baby. He said, he's from California. He says, look, I don't know about now, but in the 90s, you can't say that word in Cali. You know what I'm saying? And I feel that. I feel that. So, but I don't, I think it's the way that our parents raised us. See, me, I want you to understand that I took it personal because I was a history guy. Our parents exposed us to our community's plight in this country, right? Understanding many lives that was taken and suffered under that prejudice rule. You feel what I'm saying? What
Mhm.
up, Mitch? What up, Boots? And the thing about it is that word was the constant in description of. And I decided as a young man, I'm not gonna do that. Did it make me smarter than anybody else? Did it make me any other way of being? No, it didn't. Nothing like that. It's a simple fact that I understand that you telling me that my great 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 grandparents, that's far enough back, right? Went through that horribleness and was called that and belittled and all these different things, and you think I'm going to say that to another black man or black woman? No, I'm not going to do it.
Would you would you fight over the word if somebody
I've come close to fighting.
called you that in the comments? So you find it acceptable to physically assault somebody over the word?
No, see, that's the whole point. If you're my friend, if I say to you, bro, don't call me that, right? And you take exception to that, now we got a problem. I'm like, wait a minute, yo, we supposed to be here and respect each other's views, right? I've never called you that. Now you know why I've not called you that. You see what I'm saying? So it's not like, oh, this is what I'm willing to do. If you call me, no, it's going to be a conversation. Like,
Hmm.
bro, don't do that, man. You know what I mean? Don't do that, especially if we consistently are together. Like you my dog. You feel what I'm saying? But if let me put it like this. This last time I'm gonna say the word tonight. You know how when you were with your friend and somebody say, "Yo, that's my nigga," right? You want to know how I saw that? You replaced the word with, "Oh, that's my friend. That's my guy. That's my, that's my boy. That's my partner."
Some would say my nigga runs deeper though.
But see, that's what I'm talking about because that's the tag that was placed upon us. You accept it. That's what you are.
We made it a business, man, of making what they say nowadays. struggle look good. So every time something like that happens, man, I mean, hopefully I'm I'm like, hopefully it'll burn out.
No, I get it. And in some cases it does. Yeah, but this is just a discussion today, more than anything. And that example came up in our opening. You know what I'm saying? I said it, and I just wanted to clarify a couple things. I think that you have to be able to understand how you look at your friends and the people that you're around, right? Because you know what comes up to me is Chris Rock, his first breakout joint. You know the first joint Chris did. What is it? I don't. I'm not going to butcher the name, but remember his routine when he said, "There's black people, and then there's the N word," right? And the crowd went berserk, and everybody I knew, bigger and blacker. You're right, Mike. The crowd went berserk, and everybody I knew was like, "Yeah, it's a difference. It's a difference." So, really and truly, what you're saying is, when you say that we are grouped into it, I'm not going to be long drawn. When you're grouped into it, when they put that marker on us, right? When you say the word and there's this, how about, yo, asshole? How about criminals? How about dickheads? Which are better descriptions because the tag in which they put upon us, belittle us, and to identify us, I don't accept us saying it to each other. My own personal belief. Welcome back, Dana.
Yeah, man.
No, but
I need to catch up, bro. Because it sounds like you're saying some deep stuff.
No, it was the same thing. We're talking about the same thing. And if you have any comment about that word and YN and all that, just go ahead and add to it, man. Ja'Quari, Damon, what y'all think?
Like I said, man, I have no use for the word or the initials, but I do understand that I don't have any power to prevent anybody from using those words. I could always preach as to why it's not a good idea, but nobody wants to hear a sermon nowadays, man. So
Ja'Quari, I'm sorry, I don't give a. Listen, if you think it's a sermon, I do not care. Because when you want to talk to me about how you feel, and this is not personal, but it's what I'm saying, this in general. When motherfuckers want to talk about how they feel, they'll go into a whole thesis about it, right? But then if you talking to them about something that they don't want to hear, they talk about it as preaching to them. You feel me?
But those people, man, those people always. I mean, you're their person. You're their sounding board. I mean, anybody who would give you that complaint that you're preaching to me, they come to you to be preached to.
Gotcha. Damon, what you think, man?
When you think about us as a community, man, in its totality, man, you know what I'm saying? Things are changing all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like you said earlier, Keith, before we got on, you talking about in terms of endearment. For us, that's never been the case. It's never been the case because when we were growing up and we say, oh, that's my N-word, right? That's a negative connotation, bro. It's negative. And from our perspective, growing up the way we did, that's how we saw it. But then the people that came after us said, hey, man, we're going to embrace the word and change the narrative.
I remember that.
We're going to change the narrative. And it's like, we heard that and said, No, man, that ain't cool. But the majority of us took on it because we wanted to be happy and we wanted to be cool and we wanted to be a part of it. You know what I'm saying? But at some point in time, and this is just my perspective, at some point in time, you have to come to a conclusion where right is right and wrong is wrong. You know what I'm saying? Now, coming to that conclusion in its totality, it might not fall where we came from. You know what I'm saying? And it becomes the norm, and hey, that's what it is. We're gonna embrace the word and say, hey, that's a term of endearment. But for us, it really is. It's really not. But isn't it incumbent upon us to say, no, man, that ain't cool, bro, because I understand what it means. I understand where it's coming from. We can't embrace that way. How do we come to a place as African Americans or as Black people in this country? How do we come to that place where we embrace that word? It's nonsensical. It doesn't make any damn sense. But that's the norm. And that's what young people, you know what I'm saying? And every time I hear it, I'm like, wow, man, it's abrasive to me. So do I change because somebody decided, hey, we're going to embrace that word? Or do I stick to what I know the inception of it and what it means? You know what I'm saying? It's about making a choice, in my estimation.
Young folks nowadays, they don't care. They don't care. I mean, anytime I can sit in a room with young folks, Black young folks, Spanish young folks, and white young folks, and everybody's using the N word, they don't care. They don't care. I mean, and they don't realize how much of a future struggle that's going to be for them if they continue to accept that behavior from their peers. But just like the question I asked Keith, are you willing to commit an assault over that word? A lot of people are. A lot of people are. But I think the ones who understand the sacrifices to get from under the yoke of that word, I think their voices are just as loud.
Point. Good point, man. Good point.
Go ahead. But isn't as on a personal level, isn't it what it is that you are willing to accept, man? If you are offended by something, right, and you hear it and it comes off as offensive to you, but you say, well, that's what they're doing now. This is how they conduct themselves. Is that acceptable? I mean, doesn't it come down to responsibility at that point?
Okay, if you look at it from that point of view, creating a confrontation that could possibly end bad isn't that irresponsible?
All right, it depends on what you're trying to do. Now, if you're trying to establish who you are in that relationship with that person, I think in a lot of ways that's acceptable if it's not confrontational, if you know how to explain it.
Yeah.
But look, you can't go into a room that's populated with each and every color of the rainbow and say, I don't want to hear the N word at all. You can't do it. It's impossible. You can't stop people. And I'm not saying be soft on it. I'm not saying we should accept it. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying, is it really worth the time out of your day, to go and address that when you hear it and it offends you?
If it's offensive to you and it strikes you different, then you should be able to speak on it. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to compromise your integrity, right?
How is your integrity compromised? I mean, you're not in a fixed position with these people. You have the ability to leave the room. You have
But
the
if
ability. You have the ability to create your own environment.
yeah, but if it's directed towards you in a personal manner, you have to address that, bro.
If it's directed to you in a personal manner, then that's to your benefit, man. That's to your benefit. I rather enjoy enemies that I can see.
Yeah. Let me just say this. Let me get in here real quick. There is, even though I've never prescribed to it, picking your battles, right? Depending on where you are. Now, if it's a place where you are ultra offended and you just need it because you see me, I was all about going to sleep at night. So if somebody crossed
You
that
have to
line
address,
with
you have
me,
to
I
address
gotta
it.
sleep.
Right, right.
Yo, I don't care where I am because I can articulate it in a way that is coming across.
And let me ask you guys this: if you're in a room full of white men and every single one of them calls you a nigger, do you need to argue or do you need to leave?
You need to do both, Jaquar, but guess what? I am not leaving that motherfucker until
Hell no. No.
I get everything out.
But see,
You understand what I'm saying to you? I understand why you should leave, danger, but really and truly is the mob mentality. They're not thinking logically anyway, right? But as I'm leaving, I'm going to block off 5 minutes worth of you mongrel, blah, 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 the and then I'm walking out that mouth.
well, here's the difference, though.
That's all.
Here's the difference. In that situation, in the room for the white men, right? You're telling me that you can't differentiate the difference, man?
What do you mean?
What I mean by that is that if you're in the room for the white men, you can't tell whether or not they're using it in terms of endearment or they're being derogatory.
Bro,
you don't know.
If it's a room full of white men,
So you are pushed in a position where you have to stand on something that you not create.
I agree with you, dog.
You have
to. Then, especially when it comes to business.
What if they want you to react?
Bro, listen to what I'm saying.
So what's your due diligence, bro? Do you ignore it?
Because
they find that as a weakness.
If you don't react, then they will find, because if that kind of thing is done to you, they trying to see where your backbone is and what they can get away with.
No, here's the thing, Keith, not to cut you off. Here's the thing. That's when you are able to differentiate the word. That's when you are able to say, okay, I'm not comfortable with that shit. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to vacillate between whether or not it's endearment, endearment, or whatever.
I feel that.
It's intentional, bro.
Yeah.
And then they can come around and say, why are you upset, man? Because y'all use that word between y'all all the time. You know what I'm saying?
That's the excuse.
You can get caught up with. Well, I can use it, but you can't use it. I'm not finna do on either. You gonna stand on something or you're not.
You know what, Damon? I will look them straight in the fucking face and like, first and fucking foremost, have you ever heard me say it? Don't talk about what you seen on MTV.
Exactly.
Or you heard in a damn song. Did you hear me say it? Because you will not disrespect me as a man, because that's the only way that they will respect something. Let me put this up on the screen because Michael has a question and I want you guys to answer. He said, yo, if it's business, you win. If not, bust the hell up. So basically saying if you leave when it comes to business, it's best to leave. So what's your opinion about that?
But my thing is this, bro. Real talk. This is my thing. If it comes up in those type of situations, if it comes up, isn't it? Aren't you put in a position where you can challenge it and say, where the hell that come from?
Of course.
Are you testing me? I'm saying, and that is exactly what it comes down to.
That's a good question to ask right there.
That's exactly what it comes down to. Because if you're comfortable saying that and addressing me in that way, for me, that's a challenge. And I should be able to do whatever the hell I want to do in that situation. What I become physical, that's a whole different story, because I could challenge your intellect because you went there. And that all is based on insecurity because you challenging me. But if you bring it out of the blue, you're challenging me. You want to see how I react to you. I'm reacting kind.
Let me be the advocate real quick. I want you to answer this, Damon. What if it's not a debate? See, if it's a debate, of course we're gonna go back and what you just said and like, yo, this, that, and other, and you attacking their integrity and all this. But really and truly, if it was the first example, if it was a mob and they all called you that word, it has nothing to do with integrity. It has nothing to do with anything but a bully mentality trying to exercise dominance.
If you're dealing with white people and they use that word, be it in jest or whatever the hell, they make themselves feel comfortable saying it, right? You dismissing how it affects me. Totally. You don't care. So I can come to a conclusion that you either challenging me or you think that I'm with that bullshit. Either way, you can't justify it whatsoever.
I'm not into fighting losing battles or wasting my time, man. Look,
it depends on the individual, Ja'Cory, but go ahead.
Yeah. If I can get that message that I'm not wanted early, then that's a blessing to me, man. I can move on to greener pastures.
But here was the thing, bro, and this is where I'm pushing back on what you're saying. If that word comes up, right, however form it comes, that is a direct challenge, because if you think about it, they know that it's offensive.
It is a direct challenge that at the time I am not equipped to face. You have to consider situational awareness. You have to consider the intentions of the word being said in the first place. Yeah, it's a setup. It's a space you don't need to be in. So why waste your time, on the soapbox trying to convince these people, get the fuck on about your business.
By virtue of the fact,
and if you choose to confront these people, let it be on an individual level, something where you are more evenly matched. Is my whole point.
But by virtue of the fact that they even said the word to you, they are looking for a response, how you respond to it.
Yeah, but they also telling you they don't give a fuck about you either.
Right. So it's negative either way.
So it depends on the individual.
Yeah, my response is to live another day, live to fight another day.
It depends, and really and truly, it depends on the individual. In my opinion, and I want y'all to, do y'all think that's accurate? Depending on the individual, how you actually face this type of thing. Because like I told you, I'm combative. Like, how fucking dare you insult me when I think, and you know, if I'm on the grounds of thinking little of your opinion, how dare you try to throw your opinion on me? But I'm also walking the fuck out the door as I get my opinion because now I'm thinking, how can I circumvent, it's business wise, how can I circumvent this bullshit and make this money? You see what I'm saying? How can I find partners that I can fuck with to go forward? Because what people do is they panic and they tell themselves, and this is human beings. Human beings tell themselves, I'm going to take this shit because I need them.
So what it boils down to is, are you willing to compromise based on business sake?
That's the whole point. We all three of us are saying the same thing. We're saying the same thing. It depending on the individual.
I don't give a damn
saying,
what situation you in.
I'm
Be it business wise, I don't care what situation we in. When you use that word, you know what I'm saying? That's a challenge to me. When you use that word in that situation, when you use that word, that's a challenge to me, because you know deep within yourself that that word is offensive, and you using it for a reaction. Okay, so that's the case.
So you're just willing to
Okay,
die.
then I'm gonna give you what you. I'm gonna give you the same energy. It is what it is.
So you're gonna just dive in, even though there's no way you can solve this problem right now.
But
Okay.
That's what he dives in because that's what he's willing to live with. That's why I say it's individualized, bro. It really is.
So what if you come to what if you come to a conclusion? You say, "Oh man, you know, whatever. I'm gonna keep it moving. I'm gonna take the higher ground in that aspect, right?"
Mm-hmm.
What you think that's going to lead to?
More fuckery.
Right.
No, not if I have a goal.
If you allow somebody,
I've faced obstacles my entire life, and I've always gotten what I wanted. It's always been somebody in my way.
But it all boils down to
a room full of dickheads who have opinions about me and they don't even know me. They don't factor in that if they had every single resource that I needed at the time, I would not accept it.
It's a good point.
I would not accept it.
It's just like I said. I mean, it really and truly is a healthy compromise. It's individualized. That's the compromise. Depends on the person. You know what I'm saying? It depends on the person and how they move, man.
Here's the thing, man.
You're the last point, man. Go ahead.
Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. Here's the thing. If you go into a situation respecting who you are, your manhood, your integrity, all that stuff, and then they use that one word just to challenge you, right? Has nothing to do with your ability and what you bring to the table. They just throw that shit out to see how you respond to it. You know what I'm saying? And if you take the high road, they can say, "Hey man, this is a good guy. Man, he's not offensive. He's not offended by shit."
Yeah, I didn't say anything about taking the high road, bro.
No. I'm not. No. I'm talking about me, how I feel, and how I would accept the situation.
But see, that's what I'm saying. They justify. If they say that shit,
then it's going to go where it's going to go because they are intentionally being offensive.
Yeah, of course. But who do you want to fuck with somebody? This ain't no fucking Zen, going to the mountain testing your rigors. You know what I'm saying? It depends on the individual. That I just, and I'm not dismissing what y'all saying because what I'm doing is agreeing with what you're saying. But I think for me to swallow that hard pill, right, I have to say it depends on the individual because I know what I would do. I know what I would say. You get what I'm saying? Because what we do, And it's a pro and con with it. What we do is, as our community say, hey, you should feel this way, right? And then we find individuals who say, no, wait a minute. Why would I feel that way? Because they might be happier who they are, or they might want to be different, or they might, or it might be fear, or it might be like, yo, I'm confident in who the fuck I am. You know what I'm saying?
But here's the thing, bro, and maybe I'm making the bridge too far. But here's the thing, man. You tell me one black kid, man, that's in a diverse community didn't have to deal with being called the N-word. And then being called the N-word, they come home and express it to their parents. You know what I'm saying? And their parents just say their parents come to you know what? Well, that's just how the world is, and you're going to be called that, but you have to address it this way. What instead of saying that's not acceptable? It's not cool. You know what I'm saying? And that friend, so-called friend that called you that, you need to watch them. You should not be comfortable around them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That is offensive. Now you tell me one black kid in this country that's never been called the N-word at a adolescent age as a child.
But don't you guys think that is not one or two things to react to it? It's an amalgamation of everything because of the kind of human being you want to be and you should be. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've given, the three of us given examples on how to react to that particular scenario, right? And I did not say neither one of them was wrong. What we did was like, hey, I didn't agree with what you say because this is how I see it. You feel what I'm saying? But if we're able to blend as we move in these circles, as we start to add people of our like minds into these circles, we're able to blend everything. Like sometimes you need to let a motherfucker know.
Right. There always should be a counter response
sometimes
to that shit, man.
And sometimes, like say if it depends on the degree of it, the higher the degree, you need to let a motherfucker know. The ones who try to be low key about it and this, that, and another, you need to be aware that that's what they're doing, and you're putting things in place so there won't be no stumbling blocks when it comes to that.
I have always, through my own experience with my own kids, and speaking on my own situation, when it came to my kids and they came home and expressed these things to me, and it happened, right? That's a reality. What I chose to do is say was they must have saw something in you that made them feel inadequate. So that's their only response, is to throw that word out. That was the only response. And for them, that means something.
I get it.
It means something to throw that out when they see your excellence. Well, you know, wait, you only this. You only the N-word. Yeah, but I'm at the top of my class. So that's a contradiction within itself. You were the N-word for even mentioning the word. For even bringing it up. You that. Because if you look at the definition of it, it's all ignorance. It's all not knowing. It's all whatever. And you could try to. And it's funny when I hear it. It's funny to me because I'm like, oh, that's all you got. That's literally my attitude.
Look, the times where I've been called a nigga directly to my face was the most triumphant shit that I've ever fucking experienced. Because at that point, I've won.
I've lashed out.
I've won. Whatever the confrontation was, I've won.
I've lashed out physically and verbally.
I remember, man, when This is when I was in college playing
All
basketball.
right, Damon.
Let me
Yours,
finish my
yours,
point,
is
bro.
yours the last one, and then we're gonna move on to the next topic.
And
Go ahead.
every time, this is how crazy it was. You know how you have your side, and then you switch to the other side, right? When at halftime,
Okay.
I was playing, and they was calling, "Hey man, you come from?" They was calling me the N word, saying you come from a bitch, and all talking about my mom, all that, right? I'm giving them the business, and I'm laughing every time I dunk or score. I'm laughing, right? And every time I dunk or score, they put their head down, and this and that and this, right? Second half, we playing, and those same clowns have went from that side of the damn court to the other side of the damn court, right? Saying the same things. And then once we blew their ass out and I gave them the business, you know what them clowns came up to me and said? No hard feelings, man. We was just trying to whatever.
I would have hit him with the Wilt Chamberlain. You know
That
what the Willie
literally happened to me.
Listen,
And I'm like,
and that was real fucked up for you to go through, and there's no rightness to that.
oh, it gave me fuel, man. I did what I did.
I get it.
And I handled business. What I'm
I
saying
mean,
though is that word was thrown out to me with them saying that it's about our mother and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And we threw up the banner. We was like, okay. You know what I'm saying?
man.
And then afterwards I said, man, I'll beat your ass.
Yeah, I fight over mom, but I mean, you know, nigga, I gotta weigh my options.
I got you.
But they seem, my point is, they seem to think that because they throw that word out, that's supposed to mean anything. And just by virtue of the fact that they even choose to go there, let me show you just how better I am than your ass. And that's the only thing that you can fall on.
That's where you are. Me personally, if you white and you call me that word, we gonna have a fucking problem. That's it.
Yeah, like I said,
and it's all individualized, bro. I'm not saying you was wrong. I think you handled that shit with class. That's real shit. So it's not like I'm disagreeing with you. No, I'm saying
I don't think
this is where I am.
I don't believe it's an agree or disagree scenario. I mean, but like I said, man, if I'm arguing with somebody, they call me a nigga, then I won. If they call me a fat nigga, then shit, I'm celebrating. Anytime motherfuckers start shooting low like that, they ain't got nothing else.
Yeah, exactly.
They ain't got nothing else.
No doubt. All right, listen. Since I retired, I've been a fan of podcasts. You know, I'm doing my everyday work, taking care of my family and all that shit, right? But when my entertainment and plus the fact that we're in this podcasting business, right? It's good to watch other people that are good at it, right? I watched the Grits and the Egg podcast, right? I forget those brothers' names, but they have the same energy that we have. I've mentioned them before. So I was watching it today, and the question came up was, no, it was more of a statement. He said, you know, the main guy, he said, we have to learn how to live and sit in our discomfort, right? And I was like, okay, you know, I'm listening to more just to understand what he's saying. He said a lot of times we don't have uncomfortable conversations with ourselves or with other people. I'm talking about us in our community. You feel what I'm saying? So my question is, do you see yourself confronting the uncomfortable truths about who you are?
all the time.
And if you do, can it lead to self-sabotage?
Not for me. I mean, for me, it leads to it increases my freedom because
Okay.
I always know what I'm gonna do.
So give me your definition of uncomfortable sitting. No, give me your definition of being sitting in discomfort.
Sitting my all right. My
Yeah.
definition of sitting in discomfort is people outside of my house, friends and associates, some family members in some cases or whatever. They're around me and they say, Jaquari, you're a nice, sweet guy. You're a nice guy. And in my head, I'm like, I'm not. I'm really not a nice guy. I'm not approachable. I'm not any of those things. I used to say I was a kind person, you know, because kind people, they have good hearts, but they're capable of a lot of shit. But me, I mean, I act a certain way, to protect myself. I go out of my way to greet people, to be affable, to be malleable in certain situations to protect myself. But it takes very, very little in those situations, for me to fucking fly off the handle a lot of times. And it's not easy. It's not easy at all. And I don't respect that about myself. So I deal with it all the time.
Okay. Okay. So what do you think, Damon?
I think this is what I think, man. The only time I'm uncomfortable, man, when I have to deal with my own self shit. That's it. Coming to a conclusion when I was wrong and was arguing with a person. Knowing I was wrong, but I just didn't want them to be right. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, if you are forced to see, if you are forced to see where you were wrong in the situation, but you choose to ignore that, that's not on anybody else but you, man. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, if you prove to the person that, man, you ain't right about me, and this is how I feel, and I'm standing on that, you can take on that situation, but at the end of the day, you have to still come to a realization that, well, I see where I was wrong in. I see it. You know what I'm saying? And if you're honest with yourself, I mean, you could be combative, argumentative, and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, isn't it incumbent upon you to say, "Yeah, man, I argued, man, but I could have been better." You know what I'm saying, I could have stood on something that was meaningful, that means something to me. Because at the end of the day, you had to come to a conclusion that I argued a point where I knew I was wrong. I knew I was wrong in that situation, but I argued it because I was being challenged. There's no growth or wisdom in that, bro, at all.
Okay.
So you have to be honest with yourself and say, you know what, man, I'm not gonna argue with you, and I'm not gonna, you could tell me how you feel about how I acted and how I was. But in order for me to change, I have to be honest with myself and say, you know what, they had a point, man, but I just could not let them win. That's ego.
Gotcha.
And you're totally missing the point. And the point is, how I believe how God works is, yeah, I'm gonna let you do that, but in the back of your mind, you know you're wrong. So how do you deal with yourself in that regard? That that's accepting that, man, I could have been better. It's acceptance. You know what I'm saying? And you don't have to prove anything to anybody. Whatever you and your God have in terms of making you move forward, and there is a situation, you have to address it. You have to think about it. Be it through prayer or whatever. You know, I prayed about it, but I could not let them win. That's an issue.
Yeah. So, me personally, I think that it is good to sit in discomfort when the discomfort is your definition, not the outside world's definition of you. It's the definition that you honestly have of yourself that really and truly you have to work on. You know what I mean? So the example I can give you is this. And you said it, Damon. Why did I argue with that person? And I got to take accountability. As opposed to the person saying, yo, you hurt my feelings. And you shouldn't have said that. Right? But when I said it, it came from a truthful place. You feel what I'm saying? So I look at myself, me as a human individual. I have a authentic critique of me. So I sit in my discomfort because those are the things I want to change, whatever they are. Those are the things I want to change about me so I can move forward, so I can find my peace. You know what I'm saying? So the last thing about this is, what's your definition of self-sabotage? Because this is going to segue to our last point tonight. But Damon, what's your definition of self-sabotage?
Not listening to that first voice when it tells you, hey man, you need to think about it. You know what I'm saying? Not trusting yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? To me, that's self-sabotage because it always turns out that, man, I should have listened to what I was thinking in the first damn place. I think everybody in the world has that experience, man.
Gotcha. Okay. Ja'Quari, what's your definition of it?
My definition of self-sabotage, man, is not indulging in the things that we want to do. And what I mean by that is, say I wanna smoke this cigar. I know it's bad for me, okay, but it's an indulgence. Indulgences have a shelf life. They have limits. You're not supposed to do bad shit all the time. So what I do is I indulge myself for a limited time, and then I let it go.
Hey, you know what it remind me of, bro? When you go in the store and you buy that beer, flare up your gout.
Yep.
Flare up your gout, and then you wake up the next morning and you can't put your foot on the floor.
Yeah.
But there's
Tell me where that makes sense.
There's discipline in that routine, man, because eventually you're gonna get tired of having to bend your feet out the crow claw in the morning and shit. So you don't stop drinking beer.
Yeah.
There's discipline in that shit.
Hey, Spo, you wake up 3 times in the middle of the damn night, not to go take a piss, but to pull the sheet off your foot, man, because you know you smoke that damn beer.
To turn the AC off and shit. That man said the AC had my goddamn gout burning. burning, Jack.
It's 90 degrees outside, and I put that AC. I had to turn it off for a while.
We got the stuff up in this motherfucker. I got to find me some peace.
Hey, you come to that conclusion that man that the air is too cold in here, or the sheets is too heavy.
So you police that indulgence.
Hey, and the third time when you wake up, spoke, and pull that sheet off your foot, you say, "God damn, man, this is crazy."
Nah, I say, well, I guess I'm up now. You know what I'm saying? It just be up, shit.
So I love both y'all. I love both what y'all both said, because this is a segue into. I know we talked about this last week, but more shit than came out. Being from Michigan, the Michigan former head football coach, right? Jaquari, you spoke on indulgence, right? Damon, you spoke on having discipline from it. Think about it. How does that correlate with the former coach?
Well, I mean, infidelity is I don't consider infidelity an indulgence. I don't.
No. Let me just say this. We're not talking about infidelity. We're talking about ejaculation and the power in it. And I'm not trying to be raunchy when I say this, because people get caught up with that. So I mean, some of the best of us get caught up with that. So it has nothing to do with that. I'm talking about going down that rabbit hole with the two correlations I just gave you guys. Going down that rabbit hole, even though you had so much to lose. First of all, your marriage. Get that. Secondly, you know they didn't want you to have the job, right? Third, this was somebody who worked directly under you, in which it could easily be found out. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I'm speaking on the discipline and the indulgence. How do you guys see that shit? Because it's obvious he was wrong because he was a married man. That's a given. But I'm thinking about how this man lost so much.
Moderation could have saved it.
And that's retrospective, man. When you think about it in that aspect, man. I'm gonna tell you exactly what it was in my estimation, man. Ego, bro. I am the head coach of the University of Michigan, a blue blood university.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? He didn't have a losing record these last 2 years. And Keith, you brought that to my attention.
Nope, not at all. Yeah, you're right.
Matter of fact, his record matched out of the 8 years that Harbaugh was there. His record matched that shit. So if you think about it in this term, that he's saying himself that I'm not a failure. I'm the first black coach. I'm not a failure. I have a winning record. I'm above 500. I'm at least 3 or 4 games above 500 and stuff like that. I just need to press on. But in the meantime, pressing on, I have all these things coming to me. Everybody wants to give me something. Everybody wants to be in my corner. Everybody wants to be a part of my life or whatever. Ego comes into play in that situation. You don't think about what you're losing. You're thinking about what you gained in the situation that you're in. That's where he made his mistake. You know what I'm saying? Hey man, everybody is placating me. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is placating me, and I'm not losing, so I'm that guy. So
Gotcha.
whatever comes to me, I'm going to dabble in it, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the other stuff be damn. I'm the guy. That's a God complex, man. That's ego.
Gotcha. So am I wrong when I finally saw a picture of this young lady and really it put another log onto my fire? When you lose, I'm correlating with how much you've lost and what you lost it for. Now I'm being petty, guys. So understand, I'm purposely being petty. My point is, it's about what you said. It's power. It's power. This man became intoxicated with power.
Yep. Yep.
Because what he lost it for was a barmaid looking woman. Forgive me if I'm being insulting, but my point is this. He was blinded towards the superficial because it was about the actual intoxication from the power. That's what I see. What do you think, guys?
Yeah, I mean, it all makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. I've yet to see a picture of her.
I saw one.
I don't. Yeah, I don't think she could have been Molly Homemaker or America's Next Top Model. Doesn't matter. I mean, he didn't have it. He didn't have any motivation to maintain his position.
I think, and I agree with you mostly. The only thing I disagree with you with, if it was America's Top Model and she was a sizzling 20 out of 10, then my logical side of okay, I see why you were tempted. I still wouldn't have done it. No, let me put it like this. If I was in that position, I'm not going to sit up and say, I mean, I'm not going to do that shit. No, I'm saying that logic always ruled the day. The more attractive the person is, the less logic has control. That's why I even brought it up. You feel what I'm saying? But I like to have the confidence in myself. I would like to have the confidence in myself to assume that $14 million is $14 million. You feel what I'm saying? My marriage is my marriage. And having that position, not for black folks now, even though he's a black man, and I get it, having that position in which white and black men would kill for. And it was handed to me because I was loyal to the previous coach. I think I would have been, I hope it's better. I hope I would have been thinking clearer before I made those kind of mistakes.
Yeah, my main thing, man, is all the accolades, all the money. I imagine his home was stable before the job.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you go out and basically get another wife? Why would you do that? Why would you go out and try to establish permanence somewhere else?
Good point. That's a good point. That's a good point. And look, I'm not standing in judgment of this guy. No. I just see the flaws in his thinking. And if you and Damon can, if somebody's in that position and we say something that's going to help them, you get what I'm saying? Because it'd be easy to come over here and bash this man. You know what I'm saying? But I understand yours and Damon's uh, uh, statements about it. Mine is, I believe it became drunk off that power, and the power is more intoxicating than anything. Even though we always choose to put money above it all, but power is the thing that wrecks everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait for Damon to come on, and then we're gonna get last words, bro.
Mm.
But Damon, we get ready to go into the last words, and basically we're just talking about the same thing before you left, so you didn't miss anything. But I want to say that before last words, please go like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Share with other people. It's a great. We have great conversation, great experiences on here. The comments are always fire. The guests are always fire. You know what I mean? Hey, this has been a wonderful ride. I think did I say it was 285? I think that number is going to change, guys. But and I was in a hurry today. But right now we at 285 episodes. That's a lot. That's a lot. Um, but I want to know. I want y'all to know that I appreciate you being on this ride with you guys, man, and the many great folks that came through. You know what I mean, doing their things and just really the love we receive. You know, I it's a funny thing. The great thing about it is you know how if you don't pay attention to who's watching, the folks who's watching you, Corey, they gonna tell you and remind you that they are out there watching. You know what I'm saying? And really and truly, I appreciate that because, like I said, we are. I believe we're very authentic in what we do and very informative. So it's not like we be on here on some BS. You know what I'm saying? And our guests. You know what I'm saying? Because I got my favorites. KJ Jones was one of my favorites. And he hadn't been on a while, but one of my favorite interviews. Most recently, Bobby Martin. You know what I mean? Great interview. You know what I mean? All our friends, Big Bill, Keith Barnes, Derek Johnson. You feel me? The regulars. You know what I'm saying? I really enjoyed them. Ancobia, you know, Dre Mullins, you know, the New Yorkers. Corey,
Mm.
you know, Corey Thompson. You know what I mean? Every once in a while we get Ron on. So when we have them both on, it's fire. You know what I'm saying? But 2026 is going to be a great, wonderful year for the podcast and just for us, period, man. You know what I'm saying? For us, period. You know, I enjoy this shit. I enjoy just being in y'all guys' company, man. That's some real shit.
And I do too, bro.
Um, any last words? Because when Damon come back on, we out.
I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation, and I look forward to the next.
No doubt, no doubt. Is there anything you would like us to do or concentrate on for the next year? I mean, we got one more joint coming up, but it's not going to be that long because it's the Friday after Christmas. So we may or may not come on. I'll probably give you guys a break. But if this is the last one of 2025, is there anything that you're looking forward to or you would like for us to explore as we go into the next year?
That's a good question, man. I mean, you know, like you, man, I'm a fan of podcasts, man, and it's really hard for me to not come on here and parakeet, you know, some shit that I've heard from somebody else. You
Mhm.
know, so personally, man, I'm just gonna keep sitting in my chair and doing what I do. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? If it's something that we can all come to a decision on, trying to branch out towards, then we can talk about it.
Yeah.
But right now, I ain't married enough.
I would love it if we have it because early on we had a lot of women come on.
Mm.
And I've been trying to circle back, but I think that one time, that 1 15 minutes of fame for them was enough for them, even though they did well. To a woman,
They all did well.
they all did very well. But if you know, if you guys see this on the YouTube channel or in a clip, you know what I mean, let a young lady who you feel might benefit for what we're doing and come on. You know what I mean? We invite you on, you know?
And I think this is a space, where especially uh, I don't want to say a lot of younger ladies, but I mean it's we have a space, man, where it's just a conversation. That's all it is.
Yeah, yeah. You're right. You're right. I tell you what. My expectation, my expectation of it all is get better at what we're doing. I'm a fan of you and Damon. Y'all guys are doing very well. I mean, you evolved into engaging and able to listen to our guests and really and truly present to them some engaging questions. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes I get a little lost because I'm looking like, oh shit, that's a good question. You know what I mean? And you know, I'm looking forward to us getting even better. But look, what we're gonna do is Damon is not I don't think he's coming on. So we're gonna let you go, Jaquari, and let myself go. Enjoy this weekend, brother. Please go to our YouTube channel, like, share, and subscribe. Partake in, do a couple clicks on different videos and just enjoy what we're doing. And this is Strong Perspective Podcast every Friday at 7:30. We might be on vacation next week, but I'll send out the notification to you guys and let you know. If we come on, it'll probably be pretty quick, just to give y'all some love before the new year. Um, this is Strong Perspective Podcast. Enjoy your weekend, and thanks for tuning in.
Peace.